Welcome to the Exponential Edge podcast with your host, Arya Sulur. I'm excited to have you join me on this journey exploring the forefront of technological advancements and innovation that will shape our future. As a rising junior at Acton Boxborough Regional High School and the CEO of SecArmor, a cybersecurity startup, I've always been fascinated by the transformative power of technology. In this podcast, we will dive deep into 5 key areas that are poised for exponential growth in the next decade. We'll be exploring the realms of cybersecurity, generative AI, sustainability and climate tech, biotech and human longevity, as well as the reshoring of manufacturing. These topics hold immense potential to revolutionize our world and redefine the way we live, work, and interact. Each episode will feature insightful conversations with experts, thought leaders, and visionaries who are at the forefront of these fields. In just 30 minutes, our goal is to provide you with 5 signature nuggets of wisdom from our guests. These key takeaways will empower you with knowledge and help you stay ahead in an ever-evolving technological landscape. Without further ado, let's introduce our guest for this week. Hello everyone. Our guest today is Neha Tandon Sharma, CEO of IsadoraLife. Hi, Neha.
Hi, Arya. Thank you.
Of course. So first off, could you briefly go over your career thus far?
I'm actually an engineering graduate, and then I did my master's in finance. And since almost worked as a corporate finance strategist, doing mergers, acquisitions, private equity, IPOs in the technology, media, and telecom sector for nearly a decade and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with companies in the tech outsourcing segment mostly. And then over a period of time, my husband's a cancer surgeon, and his hometown is Raipur in Chhattisgarh. It is in central India. And we decided to move to Raipur in Chhattisgarh and develop his practice as well as develop a life here. So that was kind of a moment of truth for me, because now everything that I had done so far was mostly concentrated around metros in India. And I had to now recreate a line of work which would be conducive to the city that I am in. So for a couple of years, I worked as a consultant, helping young startups in D2C, in SaaS, in information security, raising capital, doing hacking growth, stuff like that. And then finally decided that, okay, I want to get my hands dirty, and started IsadoraLife in 2019.
Mm-hmm. So you went from studying something which civil engineering, right, at Nirma Institute, I believe, right, to doing something completely different from that. So could you please explain how that process went, how you did something very different than the education you received?
Yeah, from an academic standpoint, you could say that I wasted a seat in engineering by not following. But engineering actually is a very is a very fundamental degree that one gets, because one thing which you learn in engineering is structured and logical way of thinking across every subject that you come across. So that so you will see a lot of civil engineers, metallurgical engineers, mining engineers working with very large IT companies. So, because that's a skill that you learn over a 4-year period, and then when you arm it with something in finance, because as an engineer, numbers come very easily to you, and maybe you don't understand the basics of commerce as well, but you understand the numbers and the thought process, the ability to think structurally, the ability to think in a structured manner, in a way. You end up invariably you end up making mental flowcharts of things. So that carries you forward. So if you tell me, so it of course is a departure if you talk about core skills that I had as an engineer or core skills as a banker, then yes, of course it is a very large departure from what I was doing to what I'm doing now. But essentially, what am I doing right now? I am when I started IsadoraLife, I had an idea, but because I'm an engineer, I learned how to make processes. So from the day one of the company, when even before our first prototype was ready, we had I was making it in a way that there was an assembly line in place.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then when you work as a banker and you have a chance or opportunity to meet large visionaries or companies, work with them, do their financial projections, present them to investors, you learn how to think big, you learn how to think at a scale. So when I started, so if I was not coming from this background, as a lady who has moved to a smaller town with limited options, maybe what I would have done is opened a boutique in a local market.
Yeah. Hmm.
But my background and the exposure that I had enabled me to think in a different manner altogether. From day one, we had shipping partners aligned, we had APIs integrated, we had packaging in place, we had social media strategy in place. The production process from day one was geared towards doing 100 orders a day, not one or two orders a day. From day one we were thinking like that. That was the dream. So uh, I wouldn't say that, of course, it's a large departure, but whatever I've learned so far has held me in good stead over the years. Secondly, I have no knowledge of fashion. So for the first couple of months, I used to do data mining to understand the trending colors, the trending styles, and then I used a lot of data analysis to choose the styles that I kept on my website. I didn't have a taste as such.
Yeah.
And even today, most of our procurement strategy is based on what has worked in past and how things have moved across months.
Mhm. All right, thanks. That's really interesting though, since it definitely seems like, at least on paper, a huge departure, but obviously all those skills transferred over to everything you've done after that. So I also wanted to ask, how could you go more in depth to how you got from investment banking to starting IsadoraLife, even though you went over it a little bit before? And also, I believe you started Isadora with about 3 lakhs, which is definitely a small sum of money, and now it's worth way more than that. So could you go
Um,
into that too?
I So Raipur, Chhattisgarh, you have to wear sari very, very often. So it's a tier two, tier three city, and whenever you attend any formal functions or anything, and I was not used to wearing sari,
Yeah.
and that was a very big inconvenience to me. And in between I was setting up a medical project with my husband, and that required me to travel to several hospitals across the state, meet the doctors, meet the officials and everything. And when you go there in that capacity, you go wearing a proper formal Indian dress and meet
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah.
and it was a very different an experience from me from what I was used to doing all my life. But so 6 8 months I did that, and at the same time I was also doing consulting. And this problem kept happening. I had to wake up 2 hours earlier just to get my sari right,
Yeah.
and this seemed like a very big sacrifice to me. So I was like, this, something's got to be done about it. Like, guys have simplified it now. They wear dhotis with the elastic, I mean, they know. So why can't we do that? And that's how actually it started. And I was like, if I'm the one who's feeling like this, I can't be the only lazy person in the whole country. I must have my sister, soul sisters somewhere.
Mhm.
And but then of course, this is not just about being lazy, it's about being able to wear your favorite dress more often, so
Yeah.
that you want to wear something but it is so cumbersome that you go for the next best, so you make this one convenient and accessible. So I started Isadora in the storeroom of my house. That's why I could start with as little as a capital as
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Started it in the storeroom of my house with two women, Lakshmi and Memin. And when we began, so coming back to how I used my engineering degree was I had a drawing drafting board, and on that I used to make designs the way I used to make it in as a civil engineer, and try to teach them that I think there will be compression here. I mean, in my mind, this will be compression, this will be tension, this will be the where the tension point will be, and I used to try to convey it to the tailors, and then it took a matter of 2-3 months to get things up and running. Second point which was important was that sari has two dimensions to it. One is the height of the person who's wearing it, and another is the girth of the person who's wearing it. So it has to be right from both ends. That means you have the inventory, the number of SKUs that you have multiply.
Yeah. Mm.
To give you an example, I'm like 5 feet 2 inches in height. So 40 inches of height of the sari is going to fit me. But if somebody is 4 feet 8 inches, she may trip and fall.
Yeah.
So we had to create enough number of SKUs to make sure that it is global in sizing, but also not so overwhelming that from inventory management standpoint, it becomes a nightmare. Because in retail, no matter how much you sell, ultimately your profitability in terms of cash is determined by how well you manage your inventory.
Yeah.
So that was the journey, right from as an investment banker, and then work and trying when I was having to work. So there were some practical problems that I faced, and second thing which was there in my mind was that now that I'm based in Raipur in Chhattisgarh, I ought to make this location a propeller rather than a friction in the work trajectory that I do. Uh, Raipur in Chhattisgarh is in central India, and most of the industry here is iron ore, steel. There's no tech based industry around here. So there are no tech based clients to advise. So my capability, my skill set was not matching. I had to create an area where I could make a difference. So I thought that this is somewhere where I could start and be useful to the city and also create something at the same time.
Hmm. And that's a great story, right? And I also read that you employ over 60 women, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
could you please go into that? Many of them are underprivileged. And how has your company impacted their lives? What role does it play in empowering them? Could you please tell my viewers some of these stories?
So we have around 55 to 60 women in my team,
Okay.
and around 30 to 35 women are, working as domestic helps earlier.
Okay. Yeah.
And then we of course put out ads on social media in vernacular languages and everything, and they applied for it, they came, we trained them, because as I told you that our prototyping, our process is very assembly line manufacturing. It's not like a proper designer or a boutique or anything. You just have to master one part of it and keep doing it again and again.
Mhm.
So it's easy to train people. So we train them for 1 or 2 months. Of course, they are also working at the same time, and then over a period of time, they develop a skill set of their own. And according to the capability and how fast they catch up, we promote them to different departments. So I've been very, very fortunate that I have a very strong team today, 55, 60 women. As I was telling you in the beginning of the call, that this is festive season. So we are at working at around 120% capacity. So most of my tailors are, their hands are swollen because of working the
Oh,
whole day.
really?
So evening time they are putting some some painkiller lotion on their hands, covering their hands with their scarves or stole, sitting for some time, having tea, and then going back to work. So that's the kind of sentiment that I kind of feel that I'm very lucky and blessed to have people like that who are rooting for you. Second is COVID was a very tough time for many of them. So since inception, we have not lost a single candidate because of dissatisfied employee. Either there have been young girls who got married and left, or there have, during COVID, we lost a couple of our workers in terms of their husbands were daily laborers doing construction
Okay.
work or something. So suddenly
Yeah.
everything stopped, and they belong to the villages where they used to be farm hands. So now they don't have money to pay the rent. They don't have money to survive. So only wife's salary is coming. We were also paying only half salary at that time. So we kind of, they had to migrate back to the villages and go back to where they had at least a roof over their head.
Yeah.
So that was, but slowly we made up, and now around 55, many of them are uh, how should I say, uh, when they joined us, they, like, I will give you a very simple story of my quality supervisor, who is also a director in the company, Mrs. Lakshmi Sharma. And she had never worked in her life. She was a North Indian conservative family housewife, living in a traditional joint family where her only job was to cook food.
Yeah.
And any her intellectual opinion was not at all sought after. I mean, nobody cared what she thought.
Mhm.
And when she joined the company, initially it was always like, is this okay? She would ask me, she would ask for validation from me for every single thing, and I have not been brought up like that. And I'm lucky to not have a husband. So I used to get a little irritated that, you take some decisions yourself. It's wrong, you defend it. It's fine. But slowly I realized that they don't have the confidence.
Mhm.
But today, that lady is managing a team of 45 women, giving me the production that I want, the quality that I want. She's a quality supervisor. She will make them sit for 4 extra hours if things don't work out. She's managing more than 40, 45 women, managing not just the production, but she's also responsible for quality assurance, because every single sari of ours goes through a 18-point quality checklist which she signs off on.
Yep.
So if a customer ever raises a query that this is not right, then we dig up that order sheet and say, okay, why did you sign on it if this was not proper?
Mhm.
So she's come a long way. And last week or something, she said, this person is not performing very well. We need to put her on our own version of performance improvement plan.
Yeah.
Our own version, where we put them into a department which is not as stressful and which is not as demanding, and let them, come into their own for some time before taking any drastic decision. So
Yeah.
she takes those decisions now, and she just tells me that this is what is possible, this is not possible. And I'm like, okay, great.
Yeah.
I mean, to every time in a weekly production meeting, she raises questions, and she later on tells me, I mean, in colloquial way, she tells me, you tell me how much production you want in this month. I will give you. You just focus on sales.
Yeah. And that story is really amazing. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing
imagine
that.
the journey. Imagine the lady
Hmm.
who could not, who had to come every 5 minutes to me, to a lady who takes these decisions on her own.
Of course. Yeah.
Uh, there are a couple of other stories, like
I
some.
actually I read on one of these articles that a lot of your workers had never had pizzas or samosas before,
They've never,
and you
no,
made
they've
that
never
possible
had.
for them.
In last year, I took them for a movie, to a hall. This was Gangubai Kathiawadi, which is a very feminist movie, and I thought that they will enjoy it. And I took them to a mall, and you won't believe it. More than 40-50% of them had never been to a mall, had never been to a movie theater.
Wow. But it's awesome how you're introducing them to these
Yeah,
experiences as
yeah.
well.
And they were like, okay, you sit in an AC hall and you watch a movie. Okay, this was like a revelation for them. Then some of them, they love. So we typically say, okay, I'll order samosa or something. They say, no, we want pizza, we want Maggie.
Yeah.
So things which we take for granted are
Hmm.
things which they relish, and then you understand that how we are missing out on having fun because we take so much for granted.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
at the same time, I think many of them are also domestic abuse victims. Many of
Hmm.
them
Yeah.
have family or spouses who do not work, and so a lot of times we have issues in terms of remitting salary to them, because if we remit the salary to them in the bank, then it will be taken away from them.
Yeah.
So we really have to take care of those sensitivities. And but the part of but the thing about those women is that they have kids, they manage their house from, they don't have help at home, and do all the work on their own, come work 10 hours, go back again, work, and come back the next day morning, and are as jovial and as happy as one can be.
Yep.
So
Definitely.
uh, many of I have a girl in my inventory department. Her name is Hirondi, and when I moved to Raipur, she used to come to my house to do ironing.
Hmm.
So, and over the years, I used to see her and her work ethic, and I really liked her. When I started in 2019, she said, I want to be part of this. I said, okay, but you don't know stitching. She's like, I'll join stitching class and then come. I said, okay. So I told her in January that I will be starting. She joined a stitching class. In 3 months, she learned something, but not too much, but she learned something and joined me in April. And over the year, oh, but when she joined me in April, of course, we started putting her in the prototyping testing. But what I realized over next 6 months was she was an excellent inventory manager. I mean, we had only 100 SKUs at that time, and she's not educated, but she'll say, ma'am, RE 100, 4 pieces are in production, 2 pieces are in dispatch, 1 piece is packed.
Yeah.
She had that kind of memory and that kind of focus. So today, that girl manages our entire inventory, packing, and dispatch. She manages a team of around 10 to 12 ladies.
Yeah.
And if you see my inventory management software, it is updated till last minute. I mean, any SKU code I put in, it tells me the exact status, live status. She manages it so well.
Yep.
So this is how what happens when when someone is allowed to shine.
Yep. Definitely. Hmm.
The dazzle is already there in them, the magic is there.
Okay, so I wanted to shift gears a little bit now. My mother actually is very interested in saris, and I picked out two pieces from her collection, Patan Patola and Kanjiram. And I wanted to ask you at Isadora, uh, do you guys do traditional weaving or do you have a new type of weaving? Will you ever integrate the traditional weaving, like these two styles?
Yes, we do. We don't have looms of our own or manufacturing capacity of our own. We procure it from the manufacturers or from the artisans, and then we do the 1 minute sari stitching, which is our own IP, and ship it. So the fabric, of course, is not done in house. We procure the fabric, but yes, we have all styles, right from the Patan Patola to Kanchivaram to Kanchipuram. All of them are there.
Hmm. And
But
you
it's
guys have a 1 minute or
yes,
less than 1 minute sari wrap, right?
yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to ask, is the material also less in that 1 minute sari wrap than a
No,
regular
in fact,
sari?
actually, it is a little more. It is a little
Oh
more.
wow.
Yeah, because you have to, the inskirt has to be attached to the sari. So, so overall, if you see the length of the entire ensemble, it is more than 6 meters.
Yeah.
But it is a little more. You have to give the inskirt material extra. You have to add from your side, which is made of breathable fabric, which is conducive to Indian weather. And Then the fabric of the sari, of course, is put in place. The pleats are simulated, stitched in a way that it looks like a normally draped sari. So unless the lady tells herself that this is a 1 minute sari, no one will get to know.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep. Thank you. That's actually really interesting. I thought it would be less material since it's obviously much less time.
No, the material is the same. It's just that uh, two or three areas like putting the pleats together and all that is taken care of. So think of it like a skirt, wraparound skirt.
Yeah.
So it's just that.
Okay, so going more into a broader scale, sustainability is a growing concern in the fashion industry, right? So could you share your thoughts on how IsadoraLife is contributing to a circular economy, and particularly through the rehoming of saris?
Yes. So two things that we are doing is we are actively promoting organic, vegetable dyed handloom products, which are more environment friendly as compared to the polyesters and chiffons and georgettes. We try and skew our collection towards that. And secondly, another important thing that we do is that we convert your existing sari into 1 minute sari. So you can go to our website and place an order for Convert My Sari.
Wow.
So the sari will be picked up from your house, it will be converted and then shipped back to you. So
Yeah,
what
that's a
happens?
great user experience right there.
Yeah. So what happens is that someone's brought this sari with a lot of love and hope, and she wants to
Hmm.
wear it. So you make it
Yeah.
easy instead of making her spend more money and buy another one.
Hmm. That's awesome.
So we are doing that over a period of time. I don't know how good or how far it will go, but a lot of our community of buyers have a lot of youngsters in that community who are buyers who don't wear sari very often. They don't even want to own a sari, but they want to wear it once in. But how do you take care of it? So right now we have not started, but in near future, once we have some infrastructure in place for that, maybe Isadora buyers can rent the product to each other for a nominal amount, so that which is collected by Isadora and delivered by Isadora at both ends.
Yeah. And talking about your buyers, could you go into what clients you guys serve, your client base?
We serve mostly top 10 cities in India contribute almost 50% of the revenue, and the other rest of the country contributes. North, Western and Southern India are our topmost customers. Most of our customers are working professionals. Many of them are doctors, teachers, IS
Okay.
officers, bank officers, professors. So this is the set of our customers who are the most regular customers who have to wear sari at work or who prefer wearing sari to work.
Is there a certain age demographic or economic strata that you guys cater to more?
Yes, between I think between 30 to 45 years is our
Okay.
most active customer base, which uh, which has some amount of which has more disposable income at their
Yeah.
end.
Mhm.
And second, many of us women who are between 30 to 45 or 30 to 50 years of age, we are now not looking like the way we used to look in our early 20s, and most of the sizes don't fit us. So we are looking for options where we can look good effortlessly, because now the life is busier than ever. That part of that segment is a very active customer base for us.
Yep. That's great. And I wanted to ask, as a successful entrepreneur, what advice do you have for aspiring businesswomen and men, especially those looking to make a positive impact on society through their ventures?
Just keep going, and if you think you're making a difference, and if you think that this is a venture which is worth doing, and in my view, if any venture or any proposition, if it is making a positive difference to the users as well as to the ones who are working in it, then it is bound to succeed over a period of time. Tactical failures may be there, but strategically, if you are adding value around your in your ecosystem, then that venture will succeed. So we can take case of any of the successful startups. They've all so you add value to some the ecosystem that you operate in, whether your employees or whether the people who benefit from from your service or product. If that is enriching them in any way, then the project will go forward.
Mhm. Yep, definitely. And do you think you could share or highlight a memorable moment or achievement that you've gone through in your entrepreneurial journey and that's left a lasting impression on you?
uh, Actually, for uh, COVID second lockdown and my
Okay.
team sticking through it,
Yeah.
and
So what you
I
went through earlier.
yeah, and we were only 5 or 6 months old at that time,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have enough money to pay the salaries for the entire month. So they
Mm-hmm.
said, "Don't worry, ma'am. You just pay what you can.
Oh,
As
really?
far as as far as we can have dal and rice,
Yeah.
we are okay. You just do what you can, and we'll somehow make through it. You don't worry about it."
That's
So,
great. That's
so
awesome.
yeah, so coming from them was like, how could I get so lucky?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it was
That's
a bitter,
really inspirational.
yeah, it was bittersweet moment. For 2 3 months I could not pay proper salaries, and this was a lockdown period where none of their family members, because most of them were contractual laborers and they don't get money at all because they are daily wage workers. So they were surviving, the entire family was surviving on 15 days of salary instead of
Yeah.
1 month of salary, that to single
Mm-hmm.
person earning. So but they were still somehow or other doing it. Then many of my team members in that state also were we were not posting a lot of sale videos because it would be in very bad taste to
Yep.
post product sales on your social media. So the
Mm-hmm.
only thing you can do to keep your followers engaged is to give them some content which will bring a smile to their face in these
Yeah.
times. So at the same time, they were also trying their level best to make some snippets and send me that, "Ma'am, post this, post that," because we didn't have money
Yeah.
to put a content manager also.
Mm-hmm. But now, of course, you're doing really well. The company's doing really well,
Now,
and they're getting rewarded for their loyalty and what
they
they had
are,
to go through.
yeah, they were there, they've been there, and but they didn't know that at that time.
Yeah. But
They
they had
just
faith. They had faith in you and the
yeah,
company.
yeah, they didn't know. So if you ask me what keeps me going, then I guess that faith keeps you going, that no, you can't let so many people down. You have to, they joined you and they think that you somehow will secure their retirement.
Yep. All right. So finally, I wanted to ask, what the future of Isadora Life is. Where do you guys see the company going in the next, say, decade?
So we want to be. We started as a wrap and 1 minute sari brand because that was
Mhm.
like a latent need that many of us women felt, from to simplifying a very traditional garment and making it more contemporary and convenient. But
Yep.
over a period of time, we have emerged as a more socially not so more inclusive brand in terms of sizes and shapes. So
Yep.
as we go forward, we will metamorphose ourselves from being just wrap in 1 minute sari brand to
Mhm.
a more inclusive brand for all sizes and shapes, especially for
Mhm.
Indian bodies.
Yep.
Because so be it formal wear, be it casual wear, be it so we want to be part of her everyday life, be the balm
Mhm.
in her purse or be
Mhm.
the dress that she wears to office, not
Yep.
just be part of her ethnic journey. So that is where we want to be.
That's awesome. So to end us off, could you go through your 5 key takeaways from our conversation today?
So my takeaways as an yeah. So first thing I would say is that uh, basic education that you have taken. So I'll refer to the first question that you asked me about my journey from being a engineer, banker, and then to come becoming an entrepreneur. So an entrepreneur. So my first takeaway would be an entrepreneur is the CEO, president, and the peon at the same time, and you cover all the gamut. So, irrespective of your background, if you think that there is a proposition that you have in mind and you have at least some idea, you know how to take the first three steps, then just go and take those steps. You know, everything else will follow. And second is that. Uh, that is one. And second is that never think as an entrepreneur, never think that this is a small set of business that I am doing. Think big. Try and think big. Even today I think I'm not thinking big enough. Think big. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it doesn't materialize, because when you think big, then you're planning for scale, you're planning for making a larger impact, and your processes are that much more stronger, because you know that you will not be able to foresee everything, so you make it stronger. So that is second. Third is, what I would say is that your employees or your team members are your biggest customers, your first customers. Take care of them. Take care. Ensure, allocate jobs. Try and allocate jobs according to their interest areas as much as
Mhm.
possible, so that
Yeah.
it's easier for them to perform well,
Yeah.
rather than going against their basic nature. So try and do that. For third, the next takeaway I would do say is that keep in touch with your team members, hear them. And last and final is that your customers are your best teachers.
Yeah.
So and like the first, when we must have iterated our size charts, prototypes, and our processes at least 50 times till now, and all based on single small snippets of customer feedbacks that we used to receive on social media, on chat, on everything. Guard your reputation. Listen to what your customers are saying, because if 5 customers, 10 customers are saying the same thing, then it is a problem. It is no longer an isolated problem that somebody is facing. You ought to hear it and improve your product.
And thank you for that. And thank you so much for joining us today. And finally, thanks to our viewers for viewing this episode of the Exponential Edge podcast. And tune in next time to learn about rising businesses and trends that will see exponential adoption in the future. Thank you, Neha.
Thank you, Arya. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.